with admiration. Was it love at first conversation? Who could say? But after the drinks that followed their dinner, which followed their walk, which followed their spontaneous lunch in the museum's cafe, Daniel did know one thing. She was the first good reason he'd had to want to live forever. And now, half a decade later, his feelings were undiminished. At the cusp of 40, and still he got a heady schoolboy rush watching her twist her dripping hair up into a towel, or sing under her breath while chopping cilantro, or gather her pantyhose around her thumbs as she poised a foot for entry. He set his hand gently on the slope of her upper chest over the 3 dots, feeling for her heartbeat. There, and there, and there. She stirred, those lashes parting to show her rich brown eyes. She smiled, and then her gaze pulled south, taking in his flat hand pressed to her chest. A puzzled furrow of the brow as she frowned down. "What are you feeling?" she asked. "Gratitude," he said. Daniel ran the steep slopes of Pacific Heights with the same intensity with which he'd tackled them as a high school wrestler trying to make weight, except now with the complaints of a 39-year-old body mediating the pace. Someone had once remarked that when you got tired of walking around San Francisco, you could always lean against it. He felt like leaning now. Instead, he loped along Vallejo to the edge of the Presidio and jogged the regal Lion Street steps, lined with meticulously planted gardens and cast in the shadows of towering trees. He passed a cluster of teenagers up from the night before, smoking their cigarettes and practicing their pouts, and a few early morning boot campers he recognized, traders and eye-bankers out to break a sweat before the market opened. Ahead, a younger man with rock-hard calves and tapered lats bounded up the steps, and Daniel dared himself to catch up. The stairs blurred underfoot, his muscles straining, taking 2 at a time, driving into the face of the challenge. And then it was no longer leisure, but something more. The age-old urge fired his belly. Be faster. Be stronger. Be better. Whistling past the guy, he kept on, legs burning, breath scouring his throat, the hill like a wall stretching up and up. But he wouldn't stop, wouldn't slow, not even after the man's footsteps receded into memory. It was never about the man, of course, or this challenge on this day. It was about appeasing the chorus of voices in his head, the ones that had always told him that if he ever wanted a life he could call his own, he'd have to fight his way to it. Sweat falls from Daniel's locks, dotting the wrestling mat at his feet. The gymnasium is packed, ridiculous for a junior high meet, but it is that kind of school, and these are those kinds of parents. The headgear's strap digs into his chin, and he tastes salt from where he nearly put his tooth through his lip on the last takedown. But he'd completed the move and gotten near fall points to boot. If he has one thing going for him, it is that he won't allow pain to be a deterrent. His shaggy-haired, pale-skinned opponent is more developed, with real biceps, but even at age 12, Daniel fights as if his life is on the line, as if he is trying to escape from somewhere. He is winning 5-2, with less than a minute on the clock. They circle each other warily. The kid takes a few open-hand swipes at Daniel's head, but they're half-hearted. His bowed shoulders and weary eyes show that he has already conceded the meet. But Daniel doesn't want to win like this. He wants to clash until the bell. He wants to hear the definitive slap of the referee's hand against the mat, announcing the pin, showing that he didn't back down from a challenge by coasting to the finish line. A whistle halts the action. The kid's laces are untied. Daniel bounces on his toes to keep loose, his slender frame jiggling. Someone has the bright idea to enhance the timeout by blaring Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone through the antiquated speakers. As the boy crouches to adjust his shoes, Daniel turns to take in the bleachers. There's his mother.